Welcome back everybody. So this is gonna be a quick update video for you guys on stock market, and before we get started, please smash that like button, and 100 plus likes on this video would be greatly appreciated guys. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now if you want to get my daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and you want to support the channel, definitely check out their link down below in the description for Patreon. So what we got here on stock market map, we got Dow Jones going up 0.11% and Nasdaq staying absolutely flat on the day. Bunch of chop today, but not really moving anywhere, unchanged from yesterday. S&P going up 0.22% and Russell also flat, only up 0.15%. And here's 11 sectors that makes up S&P 500 on top. We got energy for the first time this week leading the way. And then we also have technology, industrials, basic materials, financial, real estate, utilities. Lagging behind communication services, consumer cyclical, consumer defensive, and healthcare. So what we got here on stock market map, we got a bit of a rotation going on because yesterday we saw big names leading the way on top. Especially Tesla was up, Meta was up, Google was up, Apple was up, Microsoft also going up to an all-time high, and of course Nvidia. I mean, it was slightly down, but look at today, up almost 4% and now still up over 3.5%. And you can see rotation into where? Right here, regional banks, industrials, then we got real estate, and the big names, energy right here, rotation into energy. So some of these names are getting some love from the market. But again, Amazon down on the day 0.81%, Tesla down 1.40%, Meta down today 1.39%, Google down 1.42%, Apple down 1%, Microsoft also going down today. AMD, I mean, this is kind of weird. We got names like AMU going up, and AMD, this thing is down today over 2%. It was down all the way down to that gap, I think 153. And also we got some of these bigger banks, JPM, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all are up on the day. And Nvidia, the biggest stake here on Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 up 3.54%. And today's video, let's get started with dollar index. Now you can see for the second day, dollar came back and holding above 105. And another thing I want to point out guys, right here we saw upper Bollinger Band expanding to the upside and then massive explosion all the way up to 106.52. And we kind of got a similar move right here on this upper Bollinger Band, now sitting close to 106, 105.84. And the dollar so far holding 105 right here, this rejection as a support into closing for the second day. So are we going to see a rise here on dollar, possibly up to 106? In the short term, definitely possible. So tomorrow market will be closed, but going into Thursday's session, watch out. As long as dollar can hold 105 guys, we could see a move all the way up to 105.84, up to even 106, and who knows, maybe we get that breakout at some point over 106.52, and that should take dollar even higher. Now on any pullbacks, dollar, you need to watch 105. Soon as that gives up, this thing will dump down to 104.48 and possibly down to even lower Bollinger Band down here, 103.88 on dollar. On VIX is down 3.45%, so VIX is down on the day, low fear here in the market. And guess what? CNN Fear and Greed Index showing us or giving us a reading of fear, and that is based on entire market. The market breadth definitely sucks right now. This entire rally led by three names, and again you can see on my stock market map, this rally led by Nvidia, another fresh new all-time high, and the market cap took over Apple and Microsoft. I mean, can you imagine this guys? Apple, Microsoft, the biggest companies on earth. And when I was actually making videos about 2 years ago on Nvidia, trust me when I say this, I don't like the way Nvidia is going up, but I was the biggest bull on Nvidia stock before. When Nvidia was down, I was always making a video to go and buy Nvidia. Well, not anymore because I don't like to chase, and that thing if you look at the RSI on monthly, quarterly, I'm not even talking about daily, weekly, some 4-hour chart. It's off the page, and it's been off the page for months and months, and no pullback, nothing in sight, and just going straight up. Now, is that going to continue forever? Absolutely not. A lot of people think that it's going to continue that way forever, and no. You go back and look at history, some of these other big names, even Apple and Microsoft, it has to come back. Well, how much it can go up, nobody knows, but we all know that the way that thing is going up, RSI has no room on monthly and quarterly chart. It's off the page. At some point, you're going to see Nvidia pulling back and pretty much giving away half of the gains that it's got right now. So Nvidia can be actually cut into half and still be up a ton. So if you're thinking about buying Nvidia, you need to wait for a pullback. And this fear and greed index is actually right, because a lot of those big other names are down. This market breadth is like so bad right now, where 3 names are pushing the entire market higher. You guys saw that Dow Jones not participating in this rally. You got IWM nowhere near all-time highs. There isn't actually any rate cuts right now, but the market completely ignoring everything. Inflation, who cares? Any data comes out, market just goes straight up. And it's been going up for 9 months. The question is, how long will that continue? It can continue for a while, but how long? At some point, it's going to give up, and you're going to see a significant selling, and that is why we got to be ready for that. We cannot just go and chase everything, because whenever you see machines selling, you cannot compete against machines. They got no emotion. They will sell everything. And you guys saw those big sellings before. Waterfall style sell-off. It can happen in a quick time, guys. So be careful. I know a lot of you guys are making money, and totally happy with that. People needs to make money. Nobody wants to lose money here in the market, but you can really get caught up holding a big bag. And that's what they like to do to retail traders and investors, giving us a big bag on top, and then we would think that it's going to go even higher, and they would start just selling and selling and more selling. And whenever that happens, it's going to happen at some point. And whenever that happens, you don't want to be buying at the top and selling at the bottom when they were actually ready to buy that dip and you thought market is crashing. And that happens all the time. We think that, we're buying on the top, this is good, we're bullish. And guess what? They're actually selling out. Smart money is selling out, and we're buying on top. And whenever market actually pulls back, I get a lot of comment. Well, market is crashing. What are you talking about buying that dip? No, that is the time you buy that dip. Right now, if you're thinking about buying anything, well, you're just buying when market hitting all-time highs pretty much every 30 seconds. So be careful with this market, and especially those 3 names that are going up in a straight line. And I would say not even 3 names, just 1 name, and that is Nvidia, guys. Now here on VIX, well, you can see not even above 13. It needs to get over 13, and then you're going to see a move up to 14.10. And once we get over 15, that's going to be a breakout on VIX. For now, VIX, the next support will be right down here, guys, 11.52 to 11.34, lower Bollinger Band on this daily time frame. And here's my X account, and if you guys are on there, definitely give me a follow. And there is no subscription, nothing here on X, is totally free, and you can always ask me a question if you have right here on X. And here's a fantastic swing trade just overnight right here on Chevron. We actually took yesterday on Monday at 152, 155 calls. Right here you can see, and this thing exploding today, guys, all the way up to 155. Got out completely. And people that actually trade names like Chevron, you know that option market actually pays really good. So all these trade ideas are available on Patreon, and especially if you want to support the channel, definitely check out their link down below in the description for Patreon. On SPY ETF, it's up slightly on the day, 0.25%, so kind of a flat day, but again, another green day here on SPY ETF. And if you look at my screen, we pretty much got into another fresh new all-time high. And that is just insane. I mean, look at this thing right here, guys. I mean, forget about pulling back and closing this gap. That might be a dip buying opportunity for people like us. Buy in here, gap fill reversal. Well, the gap is still open. All these gaps are open, and we're straight going up to a brand new all-time high pretty much every day, every 30 seconds. If you look at shorter time frame, you will see it on Nasdaq 100 chart, how we're hitting actually all-time highs pretty much every 30 seconds. Now, from here, well, the next move here on SPY ETF, definitely 550, and there is a big call wall sitting at 550. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can actually clear 550 and move even higher, possibly up to 555, maybe even 558 to 560, or we get a pullback from here all the way down to right here, 543, down to even rising 5-day moving average, and below that we might see a deeper pullback down here around 540 to 539, and then this gap 537. So far, and I'm not even going back and drawing some big lines, but all you need right here on SPY ETF, well, we're going straight up, right? So you need this right here, going straight up, and if there is going to be any pullback, and we actually come right under 543 to 544, rising 5-day moving average, and then we try to go back up and gets a rejection right here at 544, then watch out. There might be a chance you can short this in the short term and make some money down to this gap, 537. As of right now, the trend is definitely up. And I don't even like putting these on my chart, because what some people do, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys saw that, they will just extend the line every time the ETF or the stock goes up. Well, it's hitting the trend line. Well, it's hitting this trend line. No, you're just extending the line. It does not really matter that much. Whenever we see a pullback, you will see it on shorter time frame and then on bigger time frame. So far, the trend is up. Any dips, it's called eat the dip, right? Eating the dip. Any dips in the market, they're just eating that dip and pushing the price even higher. So are we going to see finally, after this holiday Wednesday, going into the session on Thursday, some sort of a pullback? Definitely, it's on the card. It can happen. But watch out. The next target above 548 should be 550, 555, 558 to 560. To the downside now, there will be strong support at 544, rising 5-day moving average to 543. Below that, you're going to see a move down to 540 to 539, and then this gap 537. Once we get under 537, then we can possibly talk about a daily downtrend, and things are gonna come back and cool off, maybe come down to this level right here again, 524 to 525. On Triple Q, it's absolutely flat on the day. So here on Nasdaq 100 ETF, well, let's look at some things, guys. And I'll always tell you guys, same thing. It does not matter if you're bull or bear. I don't have a bear bias or a bull bias. These are genuine things that I'm showing you guys off the chart. Whenever things are oversold, like it was here, you can go back and there is a video. It says, don't short into the hole. Don't short this. Even right here, even right here, even right here. Every time SPY ETF or Triple Q was oversold, always calling it out for you guys. Now, when things are overbought, I'm not going to say this is actually a good buying opportunity and let's go and buy that dip on top. No, we're not buying high and selling higher. That's not what we do here. And definitely we got to be really careful as this market pushes even higher. Now, we can go back far as 2022 and look at this. We will look at weekly time frame also, but just look at the daily here, guys. RSI beating all that in last 2 years of trading and getting up to almost 82. Even on this weekly time frame, I mean, look at this, guys, 72. So all the time frames are getting extremely, extremely overbought. Does that mean we're going to see a pullback? Well, That is a possibility, right? When things go up in a straight line and they just continue to move higher, at some point you're going to see a rug pull. And look at the volume today. A lot less than yesterday, right? But again, things are pushing higher. And look at this. Again, yesterday hitting a brand new all-time high. And if you look at this, let's say 1 minute chart from yesterday, you'll see how many all-time highs. I mean, right here you can see these are all-time highs. 5 minute chart, or actually 1 minute chart, just hitting all-time highs multiple times, not once. Same right here. Look at this. It was just hitting back and forth, just hitting all-time highs. Now, there will be resistance at right here, this previous all-time high around 487. If that's clear, the next stop 490 to 494. Now to the downside, I mean, look at this. I mean, that is a long way down now. If you look at it from the top, from 485, 468, this gap up and go from 2 weeks ago. Now, if there is a pullback, well, there will be support right up here, and that's going to be 480 to 479, also in line with this rising 5-day moving average. And below that, we could see a dump off all the way down to 474, bottom of this candle right here, and then down to this gap, 468. So if you're actually shorting this and playing it to the downside, you need to watch two levels. The first one, 480, and then the second one, 474, and below that, 468. To the upside, like I said, now blue sky above, and this thing can push even higher. The next stop above 486.86, it's gonna be 490, 494, and who knows, at some point, and it can happen, guys. Don't get me wrong, it can happen. I mean, look at SPY ETF trading over 500. And this one, I mean, it's just insane. I mean, look at this. It was, what was it? Not even 2 years ago. It was 260 right here. 254. And look at the return. So even if this thing gets a pullback, let's say down to anywhere here, 400, maybe down to these gaps right here, still this thing would be up a ton. And there is so many gaps. I mean, you cannot count all these gaps. These are daily gaps, and it can only show like 5-6 gaps. It's showing right here, but there are more gaps here on QQQ, and things are just pushing even higher and higher. So watch out, especially if you're new money long and buying on top, then you got to be really careful buying here, because if there is any sell-off, you need to exit immediately. Otherwise, you're going to lose a ton of money, and when a machine actually starts selling, it's going to accelerate very quickly. And in that time, you will have no chance to get out from this market. So Dow Jones also going flat on the day. And you can see, I mean, Dow Jones is nowhere near all-time highs. And I mean, this thing went up. Yes, Dow Jones was going up, you know, in a straight line also. But we got a decent pullback. And then again, we're getting a pullback. And if you look at my screen, we actually bought the dip again on Dow Jones. And as long as this thing is above right here, this high, 383 to 384, it's still bullish, and this thing can push even higher. Even though the moving averages here are not bullish, they're not actually, you know, positive sloping to the upside. These are negative sloping to the downside, especially the 20-day moving average. And now, today, this thing got up to 390, got a rejection off of this 20-day, and now trading at 389. So we do have strong support at 388, below that 384, 381.33, and then 376. We can push above right here, 20-day moving average, and so far it looks like it's holding 388.75. So watch out for that level, and as long as you can hold that, this thing can push up to this high right here, and that's gonna be 392, and easily can see DIA going up to 396. The moment this thing breaks under 384 to 383 and takes out this trend line right here, so far, I mean, look at how many touches. 1, 2, almost 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and again, almost 8 touches. If this thing actually breaks under this trend line, it's all over. You're going to see some of these gaps getting filled to the downside. And I know If there is going to be a pullback and we get a pullback like 3-4%, people are going to come out and say, well, market is crashing. No, you don't say no crash word until we go down at least 15 to 20%, and then you can possibly call that a mini crash. Crash means everything gets wiped off, like we saw back in COVID crash, or even with rates being high just 2 years ago when Jay Powell was pushing the market down. So that is called a mini crash. We don't have any big crashes, nothing. And I think even if we get something, it might be 5-10%. And if you're lucky, then maybe even 15% of a correction here in this market. So you saw Dow Jones not participating in that rally, and even here IWM, we actually played yesterday, got in really low, guys, under 198, getting 200 calls, and this thing exploded. And even today got up to almost 202. So IWM trying to hold right here at 198, and also keep that in mind. I mean, big names, there is no opportunities on big names. If you're looking for opportunities, it's right here on small caps, IWM, definitely, guys. This thing is beaten down again. I mean, look at this. Cannot move higher. Cannot even break this high. And again, pushing down and down to 198, hitting lower Bollinger Band on this daily time frame, and now getting a rejection from 50 SMA right here, which is sitting around 202. So 202, that's gonna be a resistance to watch, and above that right here, 203.22 on IWM. And IWM can actually clear all that, these moving averages, then watch out for a push easily up to 206 to 208. Downside support, strong support at 200, and then 198 down to 193.